Okay, here's what your worksheet looks like. It's writing linear equations practice. So let me zoom in on number 1. Okay, we're going to find the two ingredients we need to write a linear equation, the b and the m. So just as a quick reminder, the b is the y-intercept and the m is the slope. Okay, here we go, y-intercept. So that means we go down the y-axis and we look for where the line intersects the y-axis. So right there, it intersects. That's the b. So now on the line, I'm going to write the b is -5. Okay, now remember, slope is rise over run. So in order to do this, let's get some good points. Did you notice there weren't any points on our line? So let's add some good points. Let's see, perfect intersection points. So I think here, and here, and here. Okay, and I also noticed that the line is negative, so that's important to keep in mind when we're looking at this. Okay, now to zoom in a little bit more, let's make our right triangle rise and run. So pick 2 consecutive points. It really doesn't matter which 2. We could do these 2, rise and run. Or if you want to do these 2 or these 2, you determine that. So rise over run. Okay, now we just have to count. So this goes down 1. So -1 and it runs 1. So our slope when we rise and run is -1 over 1. So let me go back to our space here. Oh, we're up here. Okay, back here. So our slope for this one is -1 over 1. You could simplify that to you could just say that's -1. Okay, final step, we're going to write our equation. So let's write our equation. Remember our equation is y equals mx plus b. So our equation for this one would be y equals, now just take these numbers from up here, -1 over 1x plus, here's our b, -5 plus -5. If you wanted to write that in a more simplified format, you could say y equals -1x minus 5. So this would be our most simplified response. Okay, let's move on to number 2. We have to go down on the paper here. Okay, we begin at the b. So begin by looking for the b, which is the y-intercept. So I go down the y-axis and I look for that point where it intersects, and it's boom, right there, -2. So our y-intercept is -2. And now our slope is rise over run, so let's make those good lattice points, find all those good points on the graph. So here's one, and let's make this a little bigger. Here, and here. Okay, I think that's about it. So those are the good points. Those are the ones that perfectly intersect on the graph. Okay, now let's make our right triangle. So rise over run. So I'm going to do, maybe I'll go right here, rise. Ooh, that's a little thick. Let me make that thinner. Okay, let me zoom in here. Let's go rise over run. Try to stay on the graph. Okay, now we just have to count. Rise over run. So let's count it up here. How many does this rise? 1, 2, 3. Rise is 3. How many does it run? 1. So our slope is 3 over 1. Our line is positive. Okay, so we're putting our slope up here above the graph. So let me put it right here, and we got 3 over 1. Okay. Okay, now down below, let's write our equation. So our equation is y equals mx plus b. So that means it's going to become y equals, our m is 3 over 1, x plus a negative 2. And you could put that in parentheses if you want. And again, a more simplified version of this is y equals 3x minus 2. Those are essentially the same equation. This one is just the most simplified. Okay, moving on to number 3. Number 3, begin at the B. So let's find that y-intercept. Remember, it's the point that crosses on the y-axis. So go down the y-axis and boom, it's right there at -5. Oh, I think that's where our last one was at. Okay, so our B is -5. Oh, maybe it wasn't. Okay, now let's put our lattice points on our graph. So find those really good points. Okay, so here, 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 and here. Okay, those are our good points. Now we're going to make that right triangle. Okay, so you choose where you want to put your right triangle. I might just go for this spot right here. Rise over run. And now we count. How many does it rise? Rise is 2. How many does it run? Just 1. So our slope is 2 over 1. Our line itself is positive, so it's positive 2 over 1. So back up in here, we say our slope is 2 over 1, or just 2. All right, let's write our equation. Our equation is y equals mx plus b. And now let's substitute in y equals, our m is 2, or 2 over 1, x plus a -5. So I feel like I want to simplify that one. So y equals 2x minus 5 is our most simplified version of this. Okay, so I don't need like the plus and the minus, just one operation there. That's why we simplify it. Okay, let's go to 4. So top of the page. Hopefully you're getting the pattern here. Okay, this one I can tell right away, 0 slope, because it's a horizontal line, if you remembered that. But let's begin at the B. Let's find our B first. So it intersects right here, right there. And that is a -5. Intersects at -5. Okay, now our slope is 0. Remember, a horizontal line has 0 slope. It doesn't rise any, so it rises 0. And then we could say it runs if we wanted to put a couple points in here. We could say that it runs a few points. Anything, 0 divided by anything is 0. So our slope is 0. So what would our equation look like then? Y equals mx plus b, and that becomes y equals 0x plus a -5, and our most simplified version of that would be y equals 0 times anything is just 0, so our most simplified version would just be y equals -5. And there is no slope. That one's a little tricky. So maybe star this one. Look what happens when you have a 0 slope. Okay, number 5. Number 5, begin at the B. So we're looking for that point of intersection first down the y-axis. And this time it occurs right here. Right there at 1. So our b is 1, positive 1. Okay, now before we do our slope, let's find our really good lattice points, our really good intersection points on the line. So here, let me thicken that up. So here, and here, and here. I think those are it. Okay, so now we're going to do our right triangle. We're going to find our rise and run. So pick any two consecutive points. I'm going to go with these two. And we're going to go rise and run. Okay, so now we count. How many does this drop? It goes down 3 and it runs 1. So our slope on this one is -3 over 1. Okay, so back up here, we're going to say our slope is -3 over 1, or you could just say -3. Okay, ready to write the equation? Y equals mx plus b, and it turns into y equals our m is -3x plus 1. And you could say -3 over 1. This is our final answer. Okay, number 6. Begin at the B. So let's find that point of intersection. Go down the y-axis and oh, right there. Now that's a special point. That's the origin. That is right in the middle of the graph. So our B is at 0. All right, next step, let's find our points on the graph. It looks like every point here is working. Okay. All right, now let's count. Rise over run. So zoom in here, and I'm going to do, maybe I'll do up here, rise over run. So it rises 1 and runs 1. So our slope is 1 over 1, or our slope is just 1. I wonder what this looks like as an equation if the intercept is 0. So our equation is y equals mx plus b. Okay, so that's going to become y equals 1 over 1x plus 0. Or, more simplified, we could say y equals 1x plus nothing, so I don't have to put anything there. I could also simplify this one more step and say it's just y equals x, because that 1 right here doesn't really have to be there. So any of these answers are correct. Okay, this would be a good place to stop the video if you think you have a handle on it and you want to try the back. Okay, I'm going to keep going with the video, so if you need to keep watching, then go ahead and keep watching. So I'm moving on to the back. I'm going to go a little faster on the back, so you can just watch and go. Okay, let's find the B, the y-intercept. Boom, right there in the middle. So our B is 0. Okay, let's get our good points. Find, oops, that was a little bit off. Find your good points here, 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 here. Okay, now we make the right triangle and we count. I'm going to go right here, rise over run. Let's count. Rise 2, run 1. So my slope is 2 over 1. My line is positive, my slope is positive. So my slope is 2 over 1, or 2. Let's write the equation. Y equals, instead of the m, I'm going to put in 2 over 1x, and the b is 0. Or I could write it y equals 2x, and then I don't need to say plus 0, because if there's no 0 or no b, it's just 0. It looks like that. Okay, let's go to 8. Ooh, 0 slope. I see a flat horizontal line. That means the slope is 0. So if you already know that, you can just say the slope is 0. I always liked, though, to begin at the b. And the b is, boom, right there. The b is 2. Okay, so now we're going to write the equation. Y equals 2x. Nope, that's wrong. Y equals, the slope is 0, 0x plus 2. Another way to write this, more simplified, is just y equals 2, because 0 times x is just 0. We're not going to say this is wrong if that's what you came up with, though. All right, let's go to 9. Begin at the b. B is right here. Boom. 4. The B is at 4. Now find the good points. So go along the line and find good points here and here. Is that right? Let me check those. Let me clean those off. Definitely here. Kind of thinking that it's here. Yeah, and then that middle one. Okay, I think that's the good points there. Okay, now let's zoom in. Let's make the right triangle and count. So we're going to go rise over run. Stay on the grid. Make your right triangle. Okay, how many do you rise? 1. How many do you run? 1, 2, 3. So our slope is 1/3, and it's positive 1/3. Okay, let's go down here and write our equation. Y equals m, our m is 1/3, mx plus 4. That's it. Simplified. Don't forget to write the x in there. A lot of kids will forget to put that x in there. Where are we at? Go up here. Okay, number 10. Begin at the b. If I'm going too fast, you can pause the video too and slow down, rewind it. Okay, begin at the b. Boom, right here. The b is -2. Okay, now find your good points. Good points, good points. Here, here, looks like all along the way, these are all good intersection points. Okay, now rise over run. Did you notice the line's negative? That means our slope is negative. Rise over run. So now let's count. It goes down 1 and over 1. So our slope is -1 over 1. -1 over 1, which also is the same as just -1. Write your equation. Y equals m. Our m is -1 over 1x plus the b, which is -2. We could simplify that because we have a plus sign and a minus sign. So you could simplify to -1x minus 2. Done. Okay, number 11. 11, 11, 11. Here we go. Okay, begin at the B. Begin at the B. The B is right there, right in the origin. So our B is 0. Find your lattice points. Find good points on the line. There's a good point. There's a good point. Up a little bit. There. Okay, they're evenly spaced. Those look good. Okay, now make your right triangle wherever you want between 2 points. So I might go here. Okay, now count. Rise over run. This goes down 1. That's -1. And forward 2. So our slope is -1 over 2, or -1/2. It is a negative line. That line is decreasing. Okay, write your equation. Y equals m, which is negative 1/2, mx plus 0. And it is not necessary to write the 0. You could just say y equals negative 1/2 x if you wanted to write it simplified. Okay, so now it's your turn to create your own line and write your own equation, and we can check those because those will vary. Good luck.